the sound. Before there is thought, before there is light, there is the sound. An artificial, insistent shriek that slices through the quiet fabric of your dreams. And in the split second that follows, in that liminal space between the world of sleep and the world of the living, a choice is made. A war is decided. For most, the first conscious feeling is not one of purpose, or gratitude, or mission. It is a cold, heavy wave of dread. A deep, familiar emptiness that settles in the pit of your stomach. It's a silent acknowledgement that the person you wish you were is not the person who is about to begin this day. In that moment, the battle is already lost. For 99% of people, the hand moves with a will of its own, a puppet on the strings of habit. It finds the snooze button, a small plastic rectangle that represents a profound declaration: I surrender. It's a vote for 5 more minutes of comfortable death, a brief return to the warm, dark oblivion where responsibility does not exist. Then, the second act of surrender begins. The hand reaches again, this time for the cold, smooth glass of a phone. It's a desperate plea for a distraction, a frantic search for a chemical hit to numb the void. The blue light floods the darkness, and with it, a stream of meaningless information. Other people's lives, other people's opinions, other people's manufactured outrage. It is the perfect anesthetic for a soul that cannot bear to face its own reflection in the quiet of the morning. You are not waking up. You are simply plugging yourself back into the matrix of distraction, hoping it will carry you through another day without you having to truly participate. But for the 1%, the sound is not a negotiation. It is a starting gun. In that same split second, as the alarm cuts through the silence, a different protocol is initiated. His feet hit the cold floor before his brain has time to formulate an argument for surrender. There is no debate. There is no internal monologue about how tired he feels, or how comfortable the bed is, or how meaningless the day might seem. These thoughts may exist, but they are treated as background noise, as irrelevant data from a compromised system. He does not rise because he feels like it. He does not rise because he is motivated or inspired. In fact, he may feel the exact same dread, the same cold emptiness as everyone else. The difference is that his feelings are not in command. He rises because it is his duty, a duty to the promises he made to himself in moments of clarity, a duty to the man he is forging himself to be. This is the great, unspoken secret of a powerful life. The war is not fought in the gym, or in the boardroom, or on the grand stages of the world. It is fought and won in the silent, solitary darkness of your bedroom. It is won or lost in the first 5 seconds you are conscious. Every time you hit snooze, you cast a vote for the weaker version of yourself. You are actively training your nervous system to prioritize fleeting comfort over long-term strength. You are teaching your mind that your word to yourself is meaningless, that your commitments are negotiable, and that single, seemingly small decision, repeated day after day, compounds into a life of quiet desperation. The choice is brutal in its simplicity. Will you answer the call with an act of surrender or with an act of command? And so, you remain in that bed, a prisoner of the warm sheets, and you tell yourself a story. You believe the lie. It's a beautiful, seductive lie, whispered into the culture for generations. The lie is called motivation. You wait for it. You hunt for it in rousing speeches, in thunderous music, in perfectly curated quotes plastered over images of mountains you will never climb. You have convinced yourself that action is the child of inspiration. that you must first feel like doing something before you can possibly do it. This is the foundational error from which all your failures are born. It is the strategy of a toddler who refuses to clean his room until he is promised a sweet. You are waiting for an emotional bribe to perform the basic duties of your own life. Let's be brutally honest about what motivation truly is. It is a fleeting chemical cocktail in your brain. It's a spark, a rush, a temporary high. It's a fair weather friend. Think about that friend. They are spectacular at parties. They are the first to celebrate your victories. They slap you on the back when the sun is shining and the path is easy. But when the storm comes, when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when the work is tedious and unglamorous, that friend is nowhere to be found. They don't answer your calls. They leave you alone in the mud and the rain. Relying on motivation to build your life is like choosing this person to be your partner in a war. You would be a fool. You are building your fortress on a foundation of quicksand. Each morning, you feel a flicker of inspiration. You lay a brick. It feels solid for a moment. But by noon, the feeling is gone, and the brick has sunk back into the mire. And you stand there, confused, wondering why your grand citadel of self-improvement never rises above the ground. The reality, the one that the 1% understand in their very bones, is this: discipline is a system, while motivation is a feeling. A feeling is weather. It is unpredictable, uncontrollable, and utterly indifferent to your goals. A system, however, is an engine. It runs in any weather, in any. It does not ask for permission. It does not care if it's sunny or if a hurricane is raging. It executes its function because that is what it was built to do. Every single morning that you lie in bed, waiting for the feeling of motivation to strike you like lightning, you are not just being lazy. You are actively training your mind to be weak. You are teaching your brain, through repetition, a dangerous and crippling lesson. That action is conditional. That effort requires a specific emotional state to be unlocked. This is not a strategy for success. It is a declaration of your own servitude. You are handing the keys to your life over to the most fickle and unreliable part of your consciousness, your momentary impulse. You have made yourself a slave to a chemical whim. True freedom isn't the liberty to do what you feel like doing. It is the power to do what you have decided to do, long after the feeling you had when you made that decision has vanished. So you have been conditioned to believe that your feelings are the ultimate authority, that this internal voice of doubt, of fatigue, of dread, is the true commander of your being. This is the most profound and destructive lie you have ever been told. 2,000 years ago, men who lived lives of immense hardship and consequence understood this deception perfectly. They were the Stoics, and they weren't just philosophers. They were the original psychologists of the human condition. A former slave named Epictetus laid out the fundamental operating system for human freedom in a single, brutal principle: the dichotomy of control. He stated, with absolute clarity, that some things are up to us, and some things are not. The secret to a life of power and purpose is knowing the difference, and focusing every ounce of your energy only on that which is up to you. Now, let's apply this ancient law to the war you face every morning. The feeling of emptiness when you wake up, that is not up to you. The wave of fatigue, the magnetic pull of the warm blankets, the desire for the cheap comfort of your phone, these are not up to you. Think of them as the weather. They are internal atmospheric conditions. Some days you wake up to a clear sky of energy. More often, you wake up to a cold, thick fog of apathy or a thunderstorm of anxiety. The 99%, the masses who live lives of quiet desperation, they treat this internal weather as an impassable reality. They look out the window of their mind, see the storm of their feelings, and decide to cancel the day. They surrender. They decide to stay inside, huddled and weak, waiting for the emotional weather to improve before they dare to act. They will wait their entire lives. The Stoic, the 1%, operates from a completely different command structure. He acknowledges the storm. He does not deny it. He does not fight it. He simply notes it with a detached objectivity. Quote 0, he thinks. Quote 1. He observes it as a meteorologist observes a pressure system. And then he turns his entire focus away from the storm and onto the one and only thing in the entire universe he has absolute, sovereign control over: his own voluntary action. He cannot control the rain, but he can control whether he picks up the umbrella and walks through it. He cannot control the fog of his feelings, but he can control the movement of his own limbs. He can command his feet to touch the floor. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful man in the world at the time, fought this same battle every single morning in his cold tent on the battlefields of Germania. He wrote to himself, asking, quote 2, the answer was and is an unequivocal no. You were not built for comfort. You were built for the work. Your purpose is on the other side of that feeling. Your feelings, therefore, have no vote in the matter. They are not a part of your decision-making council. They are simply noise from the cheap seats, and you are the one on the field. You are the authority. Your feelings are merely suggestions from a primitive, terrified part of yourself that wants only to be safe and comfortable. Your duty is to hear that suggestion, note it, and then discard it in favor of the mission. This ancient wisdom is not a comforting philosophy to be contemplated over a warm cup of tea. It is a weapon. It is a set of battlefield instructions for the war that begins every single morning. And like any effective soldier, you require a protocol, a sequence of non-negotiable actions that function with or without your emotional consent. This is your mental armor. This is the execution. First, you must master the 5-second command. The moment your alarm sounds, a 5-second window opens. This is not a metaphor. It is a neurological reality. In this brief period, you have a chance to activate your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for deliberate action before your limbic system, the primal brain of feeling and survival, can veto the mission. It screams for comfort, for safety, for the familiar warmth of surrender. If you wait longer than 5 seconds, the debate is lost. The feeling will win. So you will count down, like a launch sequence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Execute. On 1, your body is in motion. Your feet are moving towards the floor. There is no thought. There is no negotiation with the terrorist of comfort in your head. This is a direct order to your nervous system, bypassing the bureaucracy of your feelings. You are a soldier, and this is your command. Second, you will sanitize your environment. The most potent weapon of the enemy is already in your camp, likely sleeping right beside you. Your phone. It is a weapon of mass distraction, and it has no place in your command center. Tonight, before you sleep, you will remove it from your bedroom. It will charge in another room, far from arm's reach. Your first action upon waking cannot be to plug into the matrix of other people's emergencies, opinions, and curated lives. Reaching for your phone is an act of immediate surrender. It declares that your day will be reactive, not proactive. That your mind is for rent to the highest bidding notification. Instead, The first thing your hand will touch is the cold, hard floor. This act grounds you. It connects you to the physical reality of your mission, to the solid ground on which you will claim your first victory. Third, you will establish the first victory protocol. The night before, you will define and write down on a piece of paper one single, simple, physical action to be completed within 15 minutes of waking. This is not a grand ambition. It is a tactical strike. 25 push-ups, 100 jumping jacks, a 2-minute cold shower. The specific action is less important than its certainty. By defining it the night before, you remove the burden of decision from your weakest self, the groggy, newly conscious you. This action is your first kill of the day. By completing it, you prove to your subconscious mind that you are in command. You generate behavioral momentum. You win the first battle, which sets the trajectory for winning the war. A body in motion stays in motion. A mind that has tasted victory craves another. Fourth, and most critically, you will learn to acknowledge and discard. When that familiar feeling of dread or emptiness appears in your chest, you will not fight it. You will not try to reason with it or bury it under forced positivity. To fight it is to give it power. Instead, you will look at it with the cold, detached indifference of a scientist observing data. You will name it, and you will neutralize it with a simple, internal statement. Quote 3. That is all. It is a log entry. It is a piece of intelligence, not a commander. And once it is noted, you will immediately execute your first victory protocol. You starve the emotion by denying it the one thing it needs to survive: your focused attention and engagement. You are not your feelings. You are the one who observes them, and you are the one who acts in spite of them. This is the art of building your armor, plate by plate, action by action. Your life as a slave to morning weakness ends tonight. Not tomorrow, not next week. It ends in the moments before you close your eyes. The protocols you have learned are not abstract theories. They are the tools of your liberation. But a tool is useless without the will to wield it. And the will is forged not in the heat of battle, but in the quiet moments of decision. That moment is now. The man who goes to sleep tonight is not the man who will wake up tomorrow. That person, the one who surrenders to the warmth of the blankets, the one who negotiates with the alarm clock, the one who begs his own mind for a scrap of motivation, that person must be left behind. You must decide with absolute finality that he is no longer you. This is a fundamental principle of identity-based change. For too long, you have tried to change your habits while clinging to the identity of someone who struggles. You tell yourself, quote 4 or quote 5. These are not observations. They are declarations. They are self-fulfilling prophecies. Tonight, you will draft a new prophecy. The person who will rise tomorrow is an executor. They operate on a different code. Their actions are not dictated by the chemical chaos of their morning emotions. Their actions are dictated by a pre-written command, a law they established when their mind was clear and strong. The law is simple. Duty comes first. The feeling is irrelevant. This is not a suggestion for a better week. It is an order for tomorrow morning. Your trial period is over. The time for learning, for considering, for pondering has expired. Now is the time for execution. The path of least resistance has led you to a life of quiet desperation, a cycle of regret that begins every single day in the first 5 seconds of consciousness. You have walked that path enough. You know where it leads. It leads to a day controlled by impulse, a week defined by mediocrity, and a life haunted by the ghost of who you could have become. That ends. The alternative is a path of resistance, but it is the resistance that creates strength. It is the friction that sharpens the blade. Now, you will formalize this decision. You will make it real. Go to the comments section of this transmission. You will not like, you will not subscribe. Those are passive actions for consumers. You are here to become a creator of your own reality. You will post your contract. You will write these 3 words. Duty over feeling. This is not for an algorithm. This is not for me. This is your public oath. It is a psychological tripwire. By stating this intention in a public forum, you are binding your future self. You are raising the stakes. When that alarm sounds tomorrow, the memory of this public commitment will be a weapon against the weakness that rises to meet you. The desire to maintain consistency with your stated word is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. Use it. Wield it against your own lesser nature. If you cannot execute this one, simple command, then do not return here. This space is not for the curious. It is a forge. We are not collecting followers. We are forging executors. We are building a legion of individuals who understand that freedom is not found in doing what you feel like, but in doing what you have committed to, especially when you don't feel like it. For the rest of you, the ones who will write that contract, the ones who will lay out their clothes tonight, the ones who will place their alarm far from their bed, I will see you at dawn. Not in spirit, but in action. We will rise together, not because we feel motivated, but because it is our duty. End transmission.